Okay, the first thing you're gonna do is take your cheese and put it right in the center just like that. Position it nice and straight. Now you're gonna take your mac and cheese and pour the pasta around the cheese like that. Now you're gonna take a half cup of milk and let that go all around the sides into the pasta. Just like that. Make sure it gets nice and equally wet. Now you're gonna go ahead and add your cheese packet. This will help give the pasta some more of a cheesy flavor. Just make sure everything's evenly coated. I don't like it to be heavy on one side. You want it to be consistent. Now you're gonna take a fresh steak, just like this. Grab your scissors and just snip little strips right into the pasta. The steak will also release its juices into the pasta and make it taste even better. You can vary them in size. These are gonna be a little bit longer because this is the end right here, so wanna make sure we use all of this steak. So these are my last 3. These are pretty thick. We're just gonna coat that around the sides like that. So now you have steak evenly distributed around the whole thing, and that should look like this now. Good. Now you want to take a couple tablespoons of butter. Just put that in there around the sides. You want to get around 8 dollops around the sides, so that looks really good now. The last part is to season it with some pepper. And just a little bit of salt. Nothing's worse than an unsalted steak, so you want to make sure it has some salt in there, okay? Now we're going to take this and put this in the oven at 375. Okay, now at the halfway mark like this, we're going to go ahead and take this out of the oven. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold everything into the cheese and fold the cheese back into itself. Fold everything in together. So you want to mix the steak, the noodles, and your sauce all together because we want to make sure that now this block of cheese continues to cook nicely into a nice creamy sauce that's all put together. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add some mixed cheese. Just go ahead and pour that in like that. This will just diversify the type of cheese that you have in here because it's a nice blend. Better mac and cheeses use different types of cheese and not just one. So that's why you want to use a couple different kinds to make sure that it tastes really, really good. And the last thing you want to do to thicken it is just add a little bit of flour. I like mine a little creamier and thicker. So that's why I add the flour, but you could just stop here if you don't want it to be that thick, but I like it better that way. Now you're gonna mix the flour in like that. You can already tell that the texture has gotten way better and that creamy mac and cheese sauce that we all love has started to really come together. So this is the thickness that you're looking for. You wanna look for this right here, okay? If it feels too runny, you're not doing it right, so just keep that in mind, okay? Now I'm gonna put this back in the oven. We're gonna decrease the heat. I'm only gonna put it in at about 275 this time instead of 375. And we're gonna put that back in the oven now for about 8 minutes. Okay, I just took it out of the oven. It is completely done and you can just see how delicious this looks. The steak is fully cooked. You can easily see that the color has completely turned. It's perfectly cooked, okay? So now it's time to make a bowl. So I'm gonna show everybody what it looks like. Okay, we're gonna make a nice delicious bowl for ourselves of this creamy steak mac and cheese. Let's get a nice scoop with the steak in there, just like that. Oh yeah, okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna garnish this with a little bit of fresh cheese like that. We're gonna add a pinch of salt. We're gonna add some fresh ground pepper. And now we're gonna add our garnish. Look at this amazing steak mac and cheese. Looks so delicious. And here it is up close. This just looks so good. This is what the rest of it looks like. You can see how cheesy it really all got. And here we are, steak mac and cheese.